And I think if we're looking for killer apps, you know, a lot of people are trying to compare this to the early days of the internet. And we didn't know during the early days of the internet that it was the apps on top of the internet that were going to garner all of the economics, the social networks, of course. And
that's an interesting point she just made there. It's like one of those points I just like to stop it and just kind of let that sink in for a moment there. That was actually a very intriguing point Cathie Wood just made.
And I think if we're looking for killer apps, you know, a lot of people are trying to compare this to the early days of the internet. And we didn't know during the early days of the internet that it was the apps on top of the internet that were going to garner all of the economics, the social networks, of course. And today what we believe people are missing is that the big winners are going to be those companies that not only have the right AI expertise, but also have the right domain expertise. If you talk about life sciences and multiomics, DNA, RNA, proteins, methylation, you've got to have domain expertise and understand that. But even beyond that, you have to have your own data. So we think that AI is going to cause one of the most profound productivity increases in the history of the world. And so you have to, as you're looking at investing, you must look at companies and how they're harnessing AI.
Two stocks I don't understand why Cathie Wood, or top 10 positions for Cathie Wood in the ARK fund, okay? If she sounds so bullish on AI, okay? If you are really that bullish about AI, there's two stocks in the stock market that have to be huge positions for you, in my opinion, right? And especially Cathie Wood, who's somebody that likes to take risk. The first one is Palantir. You know, they sold out of Palantir a while back. I think, you know, if you're really a true believer in AI, right? I don't think there's a company that's more well positioned to thrive over this next decade, at least in the B2B space, right, as well as business to government as well, than somebody like a Palantir, who's basically at the cross sections of using companies' data in artificial intelligence to help folks make better decisions, right? So I think that's a key one. The other one's Meta. I just don't understand why, if you're that bullish about AI, you got to understand Meta is going to be one of the leaders. If you're talking about who's got more data than anybody, I think, you know, Meta has more data than pretty much anybody, right? And if you think about the work they've been doing on AI for years behind the scenes, it's not like this is something new for them. They've been spending, Zuckerberg and the team's been spending so much money for a long time. And I just think those are two stocks that I'm like, those should be top 10 positions in the ARK fund, and I don't understand why they're not. So I think Cathie Wood should get on that, in my personal opinion. That's just my perspective on that.